Nowadays, sequels are not a guarantee. It's an appropriate assumption that every entry of a beloved movie franchise may be its last. It all depends on the projected revenue against the actual amount the company generates. In this case, the movie I'm talking about today has to be Sonic the Hedgehog 3. The movie centers everyone's favorite speedster Sonic together with his powerful yet relatable friends, Tails and Knuckles. The directors and producers were able to find a formula that would work when creating this video game character. It was reported by various sources that VFX team had a hard time coming up with the design of the main character, Sonic. They did not rush to create a horrible and polished Sonic into theaters. They released sneak peeks into the public to get their reaction and predict their overall satisfaction with the design. Nowadays, because of the various forms of entertainment like social media, a lot of streaming sites, the first impression is always the last impression. Audiences get bored quickly, so the faster and effective the scenes, the more you retain their attention. Most writers have failed in creating live-action movies of popular video game movies, mainly because they release fast-paced movie ideas into the theaters. These writers were determined to correct all the mistakes made by previous movie directors. I will argue that the main reason that resulted to Sonic's movie's success in the box office has to be the relationships that are formed. All the relationships occur organically, driven by characters' decisions and motives. All the relationships in all entries have a reason of being there. In the first entry, Sonic's relationship with Tom was the beating heart of the movie. Tom was a normal human being cop who had no extraordinary abilities. Through Tom's eyes, the writers could explain the extent of Sonic's speed as compared to humans, as well as why we should care about the alien from another planet. And it worked. Relationships are the beating rock of live-action video game movies. The second entry was Sonic's relationship with Knuckles and Tails, which most fans who have been watching think they handled it brilliantly. The entries proved that the aliens all have amazing abilities, and how it can be entertaining to explore them all. The third entry obviously will unravel the bond between Sonic, his friends, as well as the new evil villain, Shadow. Sonic is always fighting internal struggles as he tries to be a superhero. He has super speed and will obviously finish his opponents in a matter of seconds. Sonic internal struggles on why it is his mission to save lives makes him a complete and compelling character. The villains that Sonic faces are the antithesis of what he's fighting against. They challenge his skills, commitment to human beings, as well as his empathy. Dr. Robotnik is one of those Sonic best villains. He is the opposite of what Sonic is. The way Sonic uses his sense of humor to hide his insecurity and fear makes him appear more human than alien in the eyes of the audience. Sonic's internal struggles are what drives the decisions he makes. He's an active character who progresses the plot forward. He's not a passive character who needs to be pushed by the plot in order to make decisions. That is what is destroying modern remake of video game characters. Sonic is respected by millions of fans because he stays the hell out of trouble as compared to other speedsters in other genres. There are never bad news about the character in the press or social media. That cannot be said as it pertains to other speedsters. A couple of them I can think who are constantly doing wrong things are a lot. A-Train, a speedster from The Boys, hurts innocent people, whether it is in the train station, people's personal homes, and anywhere in the world. Normal human beings living their lives are not safe. This makes people hate his character altogether. A-Train is always in a lot of trouble, especially as it relates to murder. What's worse is that he does not go to prison for his crimes. Ezra Miller from The Flash, DC Comics, is another character you can think about. Ezra Miller, an awful speedster, went on a crime spree ever since he was announced as The Flash. Like touching people against their will, breaking into people's home, just being an unlikable maniac. It is rare for speedsters to follow the rules of the land. Why should they? Sonic is the most selfless, crime-free speedster, and that should be recommended. With great power comes great responsibility. Sonic is not a perfect movie by any means. It has a lot of problems in its characters, plots, as well as its stakes. The first has to be that the main characters never die, even when they should. they automatically heal and they live happily ever after at the end of the movie for every entry. Because the audiences know this, the movie basically has no stakes. Everyone knows it is highly improbable that they will face death. The villains over the years have become bad guys for the sake of becoming bad guys. They never do anything awful per se. They all perform some minor inconveniences that Sonic is able to handle with his friends. The villains never cross the line that makes them unique. The threat is not to be taken seriously. In some instance, Sonic converts the evil guys to good guys by just speaking to them. Basically, the villains of this show are non-existent. They are non-threatening bad guys who destroy random property that the audiences do not care about. The writers should probably look at creating unique, actual scary villains with their own goals, stakes, and everything else. This is a personal nitpick for me that every entry introduces aliens with super speed, which tends to overshadow Sonic's uniqueness as a character. An example will have to be Tails. Tails' super speed is more exciting and impressive compared to Sonic's. It looks like her power is an upgrade compared to him. This is a small skit that bugs me every time I watch every entry coming out. The future of the movie is obviously certain. Paramount struck gold and they know it. They will probably milk this franchise for as long as it can. The challenge is if they can create standalone movies for other characters and aliens, other than constantly relying on Sonic. Time will tell. The trailer of Sonic 3 looks amazing. It is one of those movies that I am anticipating to watch this year.